What's going on, people? My name is Alex Thorn, and I'm a rock and roller who in his downtime likes to watch movies while wearing a bandana. And this time, I have decided to torture myself and my buddy and watch the Meg 2, the Stench. The Trench. You know, guys, when I first saw the trailer to this, my biggest concern was Jason Statham, because he's not a good actor. And I don't mean he's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme like level of acting. Like, he's worse, tiers worse than them, because in my opinion he has zero charisma whatsoever and just constantly has this stone face that does not belong in a movie like this. And yet, I thought he would be the biggest problem. There was a little short that I made when I first saw the trailer to this. I was wrong. Jason Statham was not the biggest problem with the Meg 2, the Stench. Everything else surrounding him was. It's going to be very difficult to speak about this movie as if it actually had a story that mattered. But this movie, instead of giving you sharks throughout the movie or a compelling story around sharks, this movie decides to give you a ton of espionage and a ton of material you don't want to see, stuff you didn't pay for, and only about 20 minutes of sharks at the end. What you see in the trailers is basically the last 20 minutes of this movie, and even then they try to distract you from the sharks, which is odd to me, because this movie has the budget to create really great looking sharks. What camera they think can capture a megalodon that's like the size of the building I live in, 3 floors? I don't know. But this movie apparently tries to fit a megalodon in every frame. It's so odd. It's such a weird choice to me. And it introduces us to characters that weren't in the first movie but are from Jason Statham's past that we're supposed to care about, but we don't care about them because they look like they came from one of Jason Statham's B or C action movies, or of their villain in a Sylvester Stallone movie, which I'm pretty sure one of these guys was a villain in a Sylvester Stallone movie. Why are you here? Why am I supposed to care about you? Why am I supposed to believe that you would be put in this scenario? I don't. Man, this movie is just so bad. There's no story here. There's a story, but it doesn't matter because it's terrible. This is what I'm going to do in this review. We're not going by beat. We're not going to try to explain something that clearly it's stupid in this movie. I'm just going to tell you something. If you've seen one of those really bad, cheap shark movies, Shark versus Ape or Sharktopus or Sand Sharks or whatever the hell it is, where because they don't have a budget to give you good looking sharks and they try to keep that runtime of sharks to a bare minimum, they give you all this other story that you don't care about. They focus in on espionage and government and maybe a love story and some other things. That's what this movie does, but it has the budget to make the monsters look good and doesn't really utilize it. There is a point in this movie, there's like a Deep Blue Sea thing where they have a Meg shark captured and have raised it like since birth or something, since baby. And this guy gets in there like Thomas Jane, and he starts with a clicker that he can control the shark with this clicker. And the thing that blew me was just like, it's a megalodon. And the shark comes towards him and he doesn't move. The pressure from this gigantic monster coming towards him in the water, he just stays. And this happens every time he does this. He just stays in one spot. Nothing moves him around at all. This Meg doesn't affect him one bit. That, and then what happens precedingly, which you know, in order for there to be 3 sharks in this movie that are completely underutilized, including that's the biggest Meg that anybody's ever seen, which would be any fucking Meg. The Meg that they have as a pet escapes, there is zero impact to that shark escaping. I mean zero. They don't feel it escaping. There's no music to set it up escaping. There's nothing preparing you as a viewer to be like, oh shit, it's about to go down. No, it escapes and you're like, okay. Obviously, having a megalodon movie, and I've seen some other people talk about this movie, and they're like, well, you're in for a stupid shark movie. I don't want it to be a stupid shark movie. I've read 2 of these books. They're not necessarily stupid shark books. They're actually pretty good books. And then I've seen other people in comments say, well, the movie has almost nothing to do with the books other than it has a megalodon. Well, then this needs to end. I do not go to the theater to watch a good budgeted shark movie do stupid silly shit that doesn't make sense just because they can. And much like another movie that I reviewed before in this on this channel, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that is the case of this movie. Just because you can do 3 megs, and just because you can do an octopus that you barely put any attention on whatsoever, and these new prehistoric animals, these dinosaurs, I don't know what they are, but they're straight out of like the Lost World Jurassic Park, which is also an inspiration for several parts of this movie. It doesn't mean you should. It just comes off as so bad. So I'm tired of like talking about this movie. If you liked the Meg one, like really liked it, you may like this one. But if you were disappointed with the first one, you're going to be devastatingly disappointed with this movie. Not even having good looking CGI and having 3 sharks in it is going to make me give this any bandanas at all. So you know what's coming up right now. The Meg 2, The Stench, gets absolutely 0 bandanas. It is the first time I've taken off my bandana for one of these reviews because this movie sucked. It's the first time I'm saying this. It's not just bad. It's not just horrible. It's not just, little things I could pinpoint. This movie sucks. I regret spending my money on it. There's better movies. There's better shark movies on Tubi. Guys, talk to me down below. I'm a huge shark movie fan, but this disappointed the hell out of me. Have you seen The Meg 2? If so, let's talk about it down below. If you haven't seen The Meg 2, what are your hopes for when you go to watch it? Guys, I'm Alex Thorn, and man, I just want to go to sleep. So then tomorrow, I can rock out and watch a good shark movie.